All around the world, countries are beginning to consider the end of lockdown, or as Singapore calls it, the circuit breaker. Those few weeks where we've had to limit our geographic footprint and limit our interaction with other people in order to slow down the spread of COVID-19. That period can come to an end in countries that have flattened the curve, and all around the world, countries are beginning to think about what that looks like. However, and this is the most important thing for us to understand, we cannot yet finish our geographic footprint minimization and our physical distancing from other people. In fact, until we have a vaccine for COVID-19, we can't take the chance of interacting with other people as we used to. In other words, we're going to have to keep physically distancing from other people for probably the next 12 to 18 months. That's what phasing out of lockdown looks like. If your business cannot ensure the physical distancing of people, it really cannot open again. So this is what companies need to be focusing on now in May and June. How do you make sure that you can get your people back to work, that you can service your customers, that you can engage with your supply chain while still physically distancing and making sure that people don't spread COVID-19 if they have it? You probably also need to be thinking about what your policies and procedures will be if people do get COVID-19. Obviously, there's that 5 to 10% of people who get very, very severe symptoms and need to be hospitalized. And of course, that's the healthcare crisis. But then there are another 20 to 25% of people who get what we are labeling mild symptoms. But these symptoms are not mild. If you know people, and I certainly do know people who have had COVID-19 and survived it, they tell us that this is a beast of a disease. It wipes out all of your energy. It makes you sore from head to toe. It really does impair your thinking and your brain functioning. And you honestly are just wiped out, not for a few days, but actually for a few weeks. And you and your company need to make sure that you understand what your leave requirements would be, what sick leave would be, and also what compassionate and emotional and psychological support you will offer both your employee and their families. So this is what we need to be doing as businesses now, not just waiting for lockdown to end and not just hoping to get back to normal, but really working to imagine what the new normal will look like while we wait for a vaccine. Yes, we can go back to work. Yes, we can get the economy ticking over again, but it's going to look very different from what it was before. One final thing to think about, and that is, how do you build confidence with your customers? You know, it's one thing to say, everybody go back to work. It's one thing to say, open my business. But if customers are not going to come, well, then it doesn't matter. And you, in fact, might be incurring costs that you're not incurring now without, in fact, generating new income. We have to build that confidence by letting our customers know that they will have physical distancing, that there are measures in place when they engage with us in our businesses to make sure that we continue to limit the spread of COVID-19. That is the new reality of the rest of 2020. And it's a new reality you and your team have to get your heads around.